Welcome back, Guavesa, and today I figured we would take a look at one of the best units in our codex. Or let me rephrase, maybe I should say a unit that is our auxiliaries, that normally isn't amazing, but in a specific detachment is better than all of a specific army's battle line. And I'm talking about the Kroot Carnivores. Let's get on into it. So the Kroot Carnivores are the Tau's auxiliary. They are our nice helpers who make us that we can further the greater good. They're normally our shock troops. They go ahead of the rest of the army. They're good in rough terrain and do little skirmishing fights with our enemies who are more inclined to do such brutal things like get into melee combat. As a Farsight supporter, though, I love me some good melee combat, which is why it's always good to have a squad of Kroot in your army to help out. But we're going to go beyond that other than the fun, fluffy lore and get into the real point of this video. And my thesis will be, Kroot are better than Guardsmen. And I'm not just saying basic level Guardsmen. I'm saying every single Guardsman unit that the Guard have, we in the Kroot have a unit that's better than all of them. The caveat is they have to be in the Kroot detachment in order to be better than all of them. But they're still pretty good, regardless. So, baseline, the Kroot just have better weapons. The Guardsmen have las guns, that's strength 3. The Kroot have their Kroot guns, strength 4. Strength's better. I'm pretty sure the range is about the same, and they're both rapid fire, so nothing particularly terribly impressive there. And they both hit on 4+, but they both can get buffs to change that. But also, the Kroot have a movement of 7, whereas the Guard only have a movement of 6, so off the bat we're already faster, and we're the same toughness value at a T3 apiece, but their save is better than ours at a 5, ours is at a 6, but in the Kroot detachment, we get a 5-up invulnerable save, which is just unchangeable. It doesn't matter how much armor penetration you throw into it, we'll always have a 5-up save, which is great. The Guard, on the other hand, and the AP, they're going to be dead. Because let's be real, fishing for 6s is not ideal. But enough of just the baseline. We're going to get into their specific guys real quick and go through each one and how the Kroot are just objectively better. So, first off, we're going to look at the classic Cadians. And the Cadians are like your every other unit of Guard, except they have the special ability where they get sticky objectives. And you know what? The Kroot also get sticky objectives, so would you look at that right there? We're on the same level, but the Kroot still have their buffs and movement and their buffs with the invuln save. And on top of that, they have the ability to scout. And the way that getting sticky objective works is it has to be at the end of your command phase, or during your command phase, I'm pretty sure, that you are on an objective, you hold it, and then it becomes sticky, and the only way for your opponent to claim it is to out-OC you on it. To physically kill you off and then stand on it without you anywhere nearby. That being said, the Cadians don't really have a good job of this. The only way they could really do it is off of their home objective. But if the Kroot use their scouting ability, they could potentially get in range of objectives in the middle of the board before the game starts and have OC on it at the start of the command phase and be able to hold it so that you can sticky random objectives sprinkled around in no man's land. So they're objectively better than the Cadians for the sticky objective ability. After that, we're going to get into the infantry squads, and I'm going to be real with you guys. The infantry squads pack stuff the Kroot just can't. They have heavy weapons teams that are really good insofar as giving las guns their upgrade to las cannons. I believe they're called. Just a huge, massive, it's virtually a railgun. Just a single shot railgun that our broadsides would carry around, except they have one shot, aim anywhere, and just phenomenal anti-tank. So they're pretty good, and the Kroot don't have anything to really compete in the realm of punching up into big anti-tank guns, or anti-tank vehicles, or monsters, or anything like that. So the heavy weapon squads that the infantry squads pack are pretty dang good, and I will concede on that. That being said, while they're on an objective, they get the benefit of cover, which is pretty cool. So they're on a 4-up save when they're on objectives. So the Kroot, then, well, they always get stealth, which I like to think of as light cover. You know, you're always moving around, and it's harder to hit you no matter what. So, and it's more on your opponent's end to get less dice through in the initial roll than it is for you to make better saves at the end. I think it's better to cut more dice off as the rolling begins, so you just have to make less saves in general instead of making your saves good at the end. But I digress. So pretty much they have stealth, which gives them, well, not my opinion, a little light cover. And on top of that, they have their 5+ invuln. So though they might not be saving on 4s, they just will be stuck at the 5+ invuln no matter what. So I'd say this makes their durability about equal, making them on par with the infantry squads, barring any anti-tank attempts. Now we come to the Krieg. And the Krieg have this ability where when they take a casualty, if they have their unit not at starting strength, they get a +1 to hit. And then, if their unit is below half strength, they get a +1 to wound, which is phenomenal, but your guys have to die to do that. In the Kroot detachment, when you're attacking an enemy, if the enemy unit is below starting strength, you get +1 to hit. So automatically, like, you don't even have to lose any guys, you just have to damage your opponent a little bit, and then you get +1 to hit. And if they're below half strength, you get +1 to wound. It's the exact same thing, but instead, your guys don't need to die in order to make it happen. So you can have possibly a full 20-man squad of Kroot throwing all of their attacks at something with +1 to hit and +1 to wound, which is absolutely crazy. And if you're in melee, the Kroot already hit on 3s. They don't need the +1 to hit natively. So they'd be hitting on 2s in combat, which is insane. And then the +1 to wound, even if they're up against something that's like T8, they'd be wounding on 5s. And if it's T7 on down, you're wounding it on 4s, which is just insane, the thought of it. But I digress. They are on par with the Kriegers in their own detachment against enemy units that they're getting support into killing. After that come the Catachans. The Catachans have a 6-inch scout move. They're really good. They're the recon guys for the Imperial Guard. But the Kroot also have a scout move. And you know how far the Kroot scout move is? 7 inches. So we are still better. Even though they have a 6-inch scout, they have a scout, we have a scout. Ours is just longer, so it's better. In this game, length is very important. Plus, on the charge, the Catachans get +1 to strength and AP, which is really good. The Kroot do not get a bonus to AP, but they're already strength 4. They're always strength 4. And the Kroot always have an extra attack more than the Catachans. So they have strength 4 all the time and 2 attacks a guy versus the Catachans only having 1 attack a guy. So we're just objectively better than the Catachans as well. Overall, Kroot in their own detachment are just by far the best unit. Not the best unit. They're just better than all the Imperial Guards. The Kroot are our Imperial Guards all rolled into one, but they're just better in their own detachment. They're faster than the Guardsmen with their base movement and scouting further. And they even outpace the Specialist Catachan. They're more durable than the Guardsmen with their stealth and built-in invulns, even better than their special infantry squads. They're better at getting on and off objectives with a sticky via their scout move, beating out their special Cadians, and are stronger than the Catachans on base consistently in melee. It's not just on the charge. And they can get the plus to hit and wound without dying like the Kriegers. The only catch is the cost of the Kroot. They are 10 to 20 points more on average than the Guardsmen. But, I think that's just the cost that you have to pay for having objectively better than all of your Imperial counterparts, battle line troops, rolled into one guy. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you all very much for listening. I'll be coming out with a video on a pure infantry Tau in the near future. We'll be smacking Mordian with the, hey, one of our battle line in a specific detachment is better than all of yours combined. And then we'll be doing into the true mass infantry movement, how Tau are just better to guard, and we'll be proving that in them making their full mass infantry army. I'd like to thank my patrons, the New Vivek, Samger, Ryan Hall, David Palilio, K-Mag, Jonathan Patino, Chris F., Mark, Magnus Thrody, and created by Philip. Thank you all very much for keeping the lights on out here. I'm so sorry for taking so long on all of this. We will get so much more content out for all of you in the near future. And I hope your day goes for the greater good. God bless you all.